Good evening. I call this meeting to order of the Crestwood Board of Education to order at 7:13, and I invite you all to stand up and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Ms. Janoon, roll call, please.
Mrs. Berry?
Yes.
Mrs. Elzayat?
Here.
Mrs. Fawaz?
Here.
Mr. Garcia is absent. Myself, I'm here. Ms. Kaminsky?
Here.
Mr. Saba?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Consent agenda, please. Ms. Janoon?
Board of Education approval is recommended for the items listed on the consent agenda, which include the August 9th, 2021 board agenda, the minutes from the study session on Monday, June 26th, 2021, the minutes from the organizational meeting on Monday, June 26th, 2021, the minutes from the regular meeting on Monday, June 26th, 2021, and the check registry dated July 1st through July 31st, 2021.
Any supporters?
I'll support.
Supported by Ms. Kaminsky. Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Janoon, supported by Ms. Kaminsky, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the items listed on the consent agenda, which include Board of Education approval is recommended for the items listed, the August 9th, 2021 board agenda, the minutes from the study session on Monday, June 26th. This is correct.
June or July?
This says June.
Yeah, and I read it as June.
This is July. Okay, so if we can correct that, is that the right date, the 26th?
July 20.
Yes, it was the 26th.
Okay. The minutes from the organizational meeting on Monday, July 26, 2021. The minutes from the regular meeting on Monday, July 26, 21, and the check registry dated July 1st through July 31st, 2021. Ms. Kaminsky, any discussion?
Yes, I would like to make an amendment to the consent agenda and add that we approve the Crestwood Board of Education subcommittees.
Support.
Okay. We have a motion from Ms. Kaminsky to amend the agenda to include the subcommittees, supported by Ms. Janoon. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yeah, just looking at the number of subcommittee meetings that we have, it comes up to 30. Did we follow the policy on establishing subcommittees?
Do we follow a policy? We made sure that everybody was included and everybody was able to chair their own committee.
Okay.
So, Ms. Kaminsky and I discussed the fact that we are behind on a lot of these meetings, so we'd like to get people caught up and informed.
Sure.
So, do you feel like there's something that you
I
want to?
just feel like there's too many.
Okay.
I feel like there's way too many. I'm looking at, honestly, I'm always looking at dollars and cents, because that's what I do, okay?
Talking about way too many meetings?
Way too many meetings, and then we can talk about, the subcommittees themselves too. I'm just trying to just open this up for discussion. I mean, I've counted 30 meetings that we're adding. I don't know what it's been like in the past, but I haven't seen notes on 30 meetings. I think I saw one for the finance committee
Well,
once.
The good thing is, that's why everybody has a chairperson. I would advise that you meet with your committee and set up what you think is fair.
Sure.
We're giving you that leeway. We just wanted to make sure that there were meetings every so many months so the rest of the board is informed and we know what's happening within the district. Because like I say, if Ms. Kaminsky wants to chime in, we haven't had these meetings in forever, and so there's a lot that we would like to catch up on.
Which is fine.
It doesn't have to be that you have to have one every month, every other month, every third month. It's at your discretion. We kind of gave a layout, but it doesn't have to be.
So who's required to be at these meetings aside from us? Anybody from administration?
Not necessarily,
So they don't have to be, Dr. Musalam, at any of the
not
meetings?
necessarily.
Okay.
President Barry and I spoke about this on Friday briefly, because I had discussed some of this with her.
Mhm.
My experience, and I had explained this to
Right.
President Barry, my experience has been that somebody from the cabinet, and usually the superintendent's at every one of them, but President Barry was saying, no, it's more for the board to get together, the subcommittee of the board to get together, discuss some things, and bring it back to administration. Again, every subcommittee meeting I've been part of since I've been superintendent, usually were called by one of us, because there were things that we need to bring to the subcommittee before it got to the board.
But that's my point, I guess, they have to be there, especially for finance, for example. I can't see that, let me tell you what I'm thinking,
Okay.
and then you can tell me what you think. I see a calendar, or
Okay.
schedule for calendar, for dates. I'm thinking maybe have a minimum number, where you say you have to meet at least once a quarter, right? Max, and this is just a thought, right? So you have to meet once a quarter for each committee at minimum. And if you need to add monthly, that's fine if there are topics that need to be brought up to the committee, okay? Because, again, I'm just thinking of, I don't want the administration.
We don't want to burden them,
Correct. I just
absolutely.
think, they've got a lot going on with everything. And then the other thing is, there's a cost to these things, and I hate to utilize dollars and cents, but at the end of the day, I just saw 30 is what I saw, and I went, holy moly, that's a lot of meetings, Because there's dates next to them.
Right, but it's not 30 for you. It's
No,
not
I'm
30
not
for
worried about
me.
just me, I'm talking
Right.
about if 30 meetings for them, for example, now we know they don't have to be at every meeting. But here's the thing, if they're not there, what are we meeting for? So somebody has to bring the agenda item, and somebody has to be able to defend what they're trying to bring to the
That's why
subcommittee.
you have a chair. Ms. Janu, if you,
So looking at the policy, there isn't really, like a number that you have to have. And administration does not have to be there. And basically, if you come up with, like, each committee shall report to the superintendent and/or board as the board may require by regulations, or if we have, there's nothing really in our procedure, but the idea is if you have to call a meeting for something, or you have something that you want to discuss, the only time a meeting was ever called really was if the administration wanted to bring something to the board, which of course then, if you're calling the meeting, you're going to attend the meeting. We didn't really meet because really our subcommittees weren't really put together. Like this whole year, we didn't really have a list for the subcommittees. And I think we were waiting until, everybody had joined and the new members were on, and then even still with everything going on, we had never called.
and for everybody to be part of the process.
Right, I guess, I thought the idea of you guys, or you creating the calendar was to just give us an idea of when.
Give you a layout. And it doesn't have to be set in stone. Go ahead, Ms. Kaminsky.
So just some clarity for everybody. We used to have actually more subcommittees. We reduced the numbers because of that and consolidated some of the the committees together. We also passed way of doing things, which I know we don't discuss, was nobody was on a committee for the first year. They didn't chair a committee till the second year. And Nadia and I talked about that, and
Are those bylaws?
it's not in the bylaws, it's just the way it was always done. And when I say always, going back at least 25 years, it's how they did it. We didn't think that way represented the board fairly, so we tried to make it equitable with everybody. And we worked really hard, number-wise. I think one person's one short, but we tried to do it as much as possible.
Actually, 3 people only have 1.
I
I
don't
think
think so.
everybody did chair one.
Everybody chairs one.
No,
Right.
3 people only have 1 committee to run.
I don't chair one.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
do.
do.
No, she's on the security committee, but Nadia is the
Oh,
chairperson.
something that's not right. This
Yeah.
is not the way it was, because everybody chaired one.
Everybody was chairing one.
Yeah,
Do you have the one that I sent you, Kristen?
I think the security committee was always,
Yeah. it must-
I'd like to open that up for discussion simply based on Danielle's experience with Homeland Security. I would love to see Danielle on something like Security Committee.
That was the only question I was gonna have, is just, I don't know if these are set in stone, but I just think that, I don't know.
The only thing
Is it only, I had a couple questions, is it okay if I,
Go ahead.
okay.
can I just finish for one second? Just to give you
Go ahead.
guys, so obviously everything's up for discussion, but things like policy has not been done in years. That is going to take more than the 6 meetings that are on this calendar. I will tell you that right now, absolutely will. And it just depends on how fast you move, what you get done. When we tried to do this, and it is a change for everybody, we tried to make a set of meetings so that we could be, involved and equitable. And Sawa, I will tell you, you were chairing a
Yes,
committee,
you were chairing a
absolutely,
committee.
because we had it that everyone was chairing a committee except for Ed because he did not want to.
Well, and wouldn't Ed be, as him being treasurer, wouldn't he be part of the finance committee?
At the time, he wasn't when you made that, though.
Yeah, no, he wasn't when we made that. But we can, obviously, if there's gonna be a lot of discussion, we can table this and not put it on for tonight, because obviously, we're not ready for a vote.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And I'd also like to see just more equity in the number of committees everybody's on. I've got Sue for 3, Nadia for 4, Najat for 3, Danielle for...
I'm not supposed to be on 4.
You are.
I'm
That's
Danielle
why
for
I
1.
think
No, there isn't
security-
enough for me to be on 4.
Security, I think, was solid.
You're on
Sala's
4.
was, security
I'm
was
on
yours,
2.
Sala.
This isn't right.
Well, and
I'm on
security, in all honesty, I agree.
Unless you have-
This is Danielle's profession. She should probably chair that.
No, I'm just counting the number of committees each person is on. Nadia, you're on capital outlay, you're on
I was only supposed to be on 3.
personnel committee, you're on policy, and you're on security.
Is this
Was
the
she-
new one?
I don't know.
You know
were
what, we're
supposed
gonna
go
have
on
to,
3. So
table
let's table
this.
it.
That's a great idea.
Because this is not how,
But,
And if we could remove the dates, please, and just put minimum qualifications for each, I think that would be helpful.
well, we want some feedback. So maybe every quarter.
But minimum, once a quarter.
Right.
You can meet every month if
think
you
that's
have to, but I don't think it should be on there. We've got 4 days in September. You have the dates and the name of the committee.
this
You just
does
don't
read
have the
like
time.
it does
It
read
looks
like
like
a
a calendar.
schedule,
Yeah.
because it says July 1 to June 30. But I just wanted to, ask a couple questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Is there a minimum you have to have on
No.
a committee or anything like, no?
3.
It
3
has
is
to
the
be
max.
3.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna ask to be added on to the security,
Well, you
Maxes.
gotta take somebody off.
oh,
So
you
we'll
have to
alternate.
take somebody
We'll
else
alternate.
is that because of board,
You
Yeah.
can't have,
You can't
That's,
have a quorum.
that's because of quorum.
I got it.
I
You
can
can't
answer
have a
that.
quorum.
I just think I'd have a lot to offer, but
I think you should chair
whatever,
that.
whatever you guys.
And the other thing too, whenever we have a committee meeting and a 4th board member wants to attend, it does have to be posted. So let's make sure that Kristen, all committee meetings are posted. Okay.
Let's advance
We
those.
have to give notice,
Yeah.
well, the meeting has to then be.
So,
whoever's-
Madam
Then
Chair,
we'd have
can I
to tell you
just-
when we're having a
Right.
meeting,
Correct,
and
and
then
then you
Kristen
would-
would post it.
can I
Yes.
just remove my amendment?
Yeah,
You can remove it, and we'll,
there, sorry.
but,
We can just move to
Oh.
table it. I'll move to
We have
table.
to remove it.
So
Yes.
also to save money, even like with facilities and stuff, do we want to make the subcommittees virtual? And then as far as minutes, we want to make sure those are available, not just to us, but, if somebody wants to FOIA it or, see them.
you as your committee, as long as it's, made public, I would like to see us get together, unless something we can't foresee. If you wanna have it virtual, that would not be my first
I
choice.
know, I have a problem being in person, but.
Yeah, because if somebody
I just
else
think it
from the
costs us
outside
money
wants
every
to
time
come
we
in,
get
you have to
together.
be available, so.
It
The
just sounds
building
like you're
doesn't.
leaving it to the chair of the
Exactly.
committee at their discretion.
It is.
To
Yes.
hold the meetings, to update the board,
Correct.
come up with a schedule, as long as we notify.
Everybody's chairing a
Priscilla
committee,
is.
and everybody was on 3
Yeah,
committees.
This is not the way the previous
That's
one
not-
was. This is the
Yeah,
way
that's
the
all.
sheet was, but not the way the previous one was.
So we'll look at it again, and we'll have it ready for you for the next meeting. Okay? Any other questions on that?
Chair.
Okay. Can you make the motion to table it then?
Okay. Well, we have a motion on the board for the consent agenda. Can I amend my amendment? I don't know protocol on that.
Just rescind your amendment.
All right, I rescind my amendment.
Support. Supported by Ms. Janoon. The motion for the subcommittees has been rescinded by Ms. Kaminsky, and is supported by Ms. Janoon. Okay.
So we still have the consent agenda and everything on the table.
Yes.
And there was
So
already
now
a
we need
motion,
to
so
vote.
all those in favor of supporting the consent agenda?
All those in favor of supporting the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ms. Morgan, business
Okay.
report?
So I get the next 20 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully it won't take that long. Number one, approval of requisitions. The attached list of requisitions are items that buildings or departments would like to purchase for upcoming needs. The requisitions have gone through all the appropriate approval processes and have been approved by administration for purchase. In addition, there are funds available to make the purchases. Once the requisitions are approved, they will be processed and purchase orders will be sent out.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Ms. Kaminsky.
I make a motion that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the requisitions per attachment 4A1.
Support.
Support by Mr. Noon. Okay, we have a recommendation from Ms. Kaminsky and supported by Ms. Janoon that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the requisition per attachment 4A1. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Number two, approval of confirming purchase orders. The attached confirming purchase orders are items that needed to be processed prior to the board approval. These purchases consisted of equipment needed for the 2021-2022 football season.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Elzayat.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the confirming purchase orders per attachment 4A2.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the table by Ms. Elzayat and supported by Ms. Fawaz that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the confirming purchase orders per attachment 4A2. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number three, approval of the Act 18 contract. Each year, the district participates in the Act 18 agreement. The agreement is between Wayne Resa and districts to establish a relationship to the operation of the special education center programs. Center programs are specialized education programs such as hearing impaired, ASD, vision impaired, cognitively impaired, and various other programs housed in numerous districts. This partnership allows students an opportunity to thrive in an environment tailored to their needs. The district currently has 61 students who qualify for one of the various programs offered. A copy of the agreement has been attached for your review.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Sabah.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the Act 18 contract for the 2021-2022 per attachment 4A3.
Support.
Supported by Ms. Is it Elzayat?
Yes.
Elzayat? Okay, we have a motion on the table by Mr. Sabah, supported by Ms. Elzayat, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the Act 18 contract for the 21-22 school year per attachment 4A3. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Number four, approval of Cherry Hill Baptist Church lease agreement. Crestwood School District has had a strong partnership with Cherry Hill Baptist Church. The district has been leasing a portion of the property located at 1045 North Gully Road, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, since 2016. Administration would like to renew the lease agreement. Currently, the district utilizes space to provide the GSRP program, tuition preschool program, and our SACC program. Our goal is to continue the partnership and expand the use of the building. The lease agreement will be for the next 3 years. A copy of the agreement has been attached for your review.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Sabah.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education renew the lease agreement between Cherry Hill Baptist Church and the Crestwood School District. See attachment 4A4.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the table from Mr. Sabah, supported by Ms. Janoon, that the Crestwood Board of Education renew the lease agreement between Cherry Hill Baptist Church and the Crestwood School District. See attachment 4A4. Any discussion?
Yes, please.
Mr. Sabah.
More of a comment. I just want to thank the congregation at the church. This is what strong communities do. And the partnership that we have with this church congregation and the neighborhood, the surrounding neighborhood, is just fantastic. And it's a testament to the relationship you helped to forge, Dr. Musalam, with the fantastic people at the church. So I just, this is one of the really feel-good stories that every school district should hope to have with the tying of the community. So thank you for all the hard work on everybody's part.
Ms. Janu?
I agree with Mr. Sabo. I think, as I said before, I think it's a beautiful thing to see the church, move on to supporting the community and the kids in this community as well. So, and the only other thing that I want to add is that we just want to make sure that we get signatures or initials to the addendum, but
Yes, ma'am.
other than that,
It's in my notes.
okay.
Ms.
Thank you.
Kaminsky?
I was gonna say, but not as eloquently as you did, pretty much the same thing,
Me
so
too,
nice
but he did a
job.
nice job. I put my hand up.
I know, he did, really a nice job, Mo. And just to say that Dr. Musalam has worked really hard with both the church and the city to forge new relationships, working together for the betterment of our kids. And I think it's great, and I hope that our hopes for Berwyn Center are as successful as this. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ditto those sentiments. Thank you very much. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 5, approval of Convergent contract. Over the past several years, Crestwood School District has contracted with Convergent technology partners to provide E-rate consulting services. This service has allowed the district to take advantage of E-rate savings and submissions. The E-rate program has strict guidelines and limitations which change frequently. It is beneficial to have a company versed on the program to assist in maneuvering the submissions. In the past, the district has only been eligible for Category 1 funding. However, this year, the district is eligible for Category 2 funding as well. The contract for the 2021-2022 school year will cost the district $6,000.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Fawaz?
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the one-year contract with the Convergent Technology Partner Contract for the 2021-2022 school year. See attachment 4.A.5.
Support?
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Ms. Fawaz, supported by Ms. Kaminsky, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the one-year contract with Convergent Technology Partner Contract for the 21-22 school year. See attachment 4A5. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Number 6, the district would like to purchase Newsella through Title I funding for the 2021-22 school year. This is an important supplemental resource to enhance student learning and engagement with content and literacy based on resources, which is engaging and accessible for all students, parents, and teachers. Content is engaging to students and provides ways for teachers to make a connection to an academic topic or skill. There's also a select content that serves as mirror and windows for Newsella's diverse readership, teaching students about those different from themselves and giving them opportunities to identify with people within the content.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Elzayat?
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the agreement with Newsella as per attachment 4A6.
Support?
Supported by Ms. Kaminsky. We have a motion on the floor by Ms. Elzayat, supported by Ms. Kaminsky, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the agreement with New Westlaw as per attachment 4A6. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
I almost want to kick myself for not asking this last meeting. Forgive me, and I think you answered it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. From a privacy perspective,
Yes.
we're collecting pretty important information on some of these students.
Yes.
No concerns, I take it, with the background that
No.
you've looked into with the organization that we're getting into an agreement with.
Correct.
Thank you.
Of course.
I had to ask it, I'm sorry.
Of course.
Ms. Janoun?
So I was just wondering, I know that this is gonna be this will be used district-wide, right? So is it going to be mandatory for every teacher to utilize this program? I know, like, from what I've heard about the program, that it basically adjusts the reading level per student, so that if everyone's reading the same thing, each child, depending on the reading level, it'll be adjusted towards their understanding, so they can understand it. So is every teacher going to be utilizing it?
Mr. Fabris is going to work with the staff to
Okay.
train them and
Okay.
utilize to the best of our abilities.
Okay.
It is a supplemental tool,
Right.
so they will help all students in that aspect.
Right, because I mean, from what I heard, it's great.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that if we're paying for this, that it's.
If I may
yeah.
add to that. So with our school improvement planning,
Mhm.
that data doesn't just come back to what the schools do, the data also goes back to how students are achieving in the classroom.
Right,
So through our school improvement planning, when we purchase something as such, it is highly recommended that the teachers use it to support their student growth. If students are not growing and they're not using the sports, so when it's a supplemental piece, we don't force anyone to do it
Okay.
because we want people to use it because they see it helping children. And we're gonna have, there are some teachers that have a lot of experience with it, that are gonna jump right into it. There are gonna be teachers that are gonna be like, tell me more.
learning.
And there are gonna be some teachers like, okay, let me wait, let me see how you all do with this, and that's okay. So it's through the process.
So if you find that a teacher has students that are not successful, can you track whether or not somebody was utilizing this
So
as
with,
a resource?
with our evaluation process, and Dr. Lazare speak to it better than I can, but if I miss anything, please cut me off. When we work with staff
Mhm.
and we don't see the students growing, the question is, what are you doing differently? And therefore, are you using this? No, well, why not? Okay, we're gonna get you professional development on how to use it. We're gonna have you go in and observe another teacher who's very successful with that. Here's the nice thing about it. See, when you get me on this is my soapbox.
Yeah, it's okay.
Through the professional learning communities, teachers are not gonna be teaching on islands anymore. They're gonna be with teams.
So we'll see.
Exactly. And it's gonna, and that's why with these coaches, the beautiful thing about these coaches is I as a teacher and you as a teacher, there's no animosity. There's no he or she is evaluating me. It's gonna be, you know what? You know, Mrs. Fawaz, you have these 3-4 kids that you're struggling with, but Mrs. Alzayat had the same kids and she was successful. So I want you to go in and observe her class while she's teaching. I'll cover your class and then I'll help you through the process. That's the direction we're going as a district. And if you all remember, I said the pandemic was the easy part. This is the difficult part right now, us getting back into the saddle and making those mindset shifts.
Okay, thank you for that. With that being said, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
And number 7, approval of overnight tennis trip. The Crestwood High School boys tennis team would like to travel to Traverse City on August 22nd to the 24th, 2021. The trip will cost approximately $250 per student, paid for by the student. During the trip, the team will have the opportunity to face opponents not normally seen during the regular season, allowing the team to experience a variety of competition levels.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Fawaz?
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the overnight trip for the Crestwood High School boys tennis team.
Support.
Ms. Janoon, okay, we have a motion on the table from Ms. Fawaz, supported by Ms. Janoon, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the overnight trip for the Crestwood High School boys tennis team. Any discussion? Ms. Kaminsky?
Just one quick thing, maybe just a reminder to the teachers and coaches that, and although this wasn't within the 2 weeks, that we need 2 weeks. Thanks.
Yes,
Thank you.
I understood.
Mr. Sabah?
Good luck, boys.
Thank
I hope they have a good time. This is a great, memorable event that they'll carry for years.
If anyone's gonna take the blame in the 2 weeks, I will take full blame. It's
Well,
on me.
it's within 2 weeks.
I know, but
it's
it's, we
one
need to
day.
get it shorter. I know, I'm with
It's
you.
not a big deal.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Fawaz?
Are they, just quick questions, are they traveling through bus? Are they all responsible for traveling on their own, or they have chaperones or parents, or,
Chaperones and parents,
okay,
yes, and teachers.
and bus?
No bus, correct?
On their
No
own?
bus.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Elzayat?
I just wanted to wish the boys a good trip and also remind them to stay safe. Please.
Most importantly, stay
Uh,
safe.
Wear a mask if you feel you have to, and social distance if you feel you have to.
Okay. On to the personnel report. Huh? Oh, I thought we voted on that, sorry, I guess we didn't, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, you're welcome. Now, Dr. Lazar, personnel report, please?
You don't want to do informational? All
We
right.
got it done.
I kept it short this time, but next time you guys won't be so lucky. All right, we have 2 action items on the personnel report today. The first is for the appointment of an elementary teacher at Hillcrest, Miss Julia Kurth. Ms. Kurth has a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education with a minor in TESOL from Michigan State University. She has recently completed her 1-year internship in teaching. Ms. Kurth was also part of the Global Educators Cohort Program and the Honors College. She's very excited to officially begin her teaching career with us.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Sabah?
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Julia Kurth as a first-grade teacher for the 2021-2022 school year, according to the CFT contract BA Step O, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the table from Mr. Sabah, supported by Ms. Janoon, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the hiring of Julia Kurth as a first-grade teacher for the 2021-22 school year, according to the CFT contract BA Step 0O, effective pending acceptable criminal background check and other employment documentation as required by law. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second action item is for the approval of the district code of conduct. The Crestwood School District takes pride in our continuous effort to maintain a safe and effective learning environment for everyone. Our district code of conduct is a reflection of this commitment and highlights a focus on restorative practices, MTSS, communication, relationship building, and school-to-home partnerships. The development of this code of conduct was achieved through conversation and collaboration that occurred during meetings intended to solicit input and encourage conversation among all stakeholders, including teachers, administrative staff, Board of Education members, parents, and members of the community.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Elzayat?
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the Crestwood School District Code of Conduct as attached. See attachment 5A2.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the table from Ms. Elzayat and supported by Mr. Sabah, that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the Crestwood School District Code of Conduct as attached, see attachment 5A2. Any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Ms. Kaminsky?
I just want to say I'm really excited about this. This was a team effort with the board, with the teachers, with administration. It was not done lightly. It was looked at and edited, and then edited again, and then I think edited maybe 2 or 3 more times after that. So thank you to everybody involved for all their work, and I'm excited this is done.
Any other comments? I just want to say you took my thunder. You don't know how excited I am about this, that we can finally start a school year knowing what the student code of conduct or district code of conduct is. This is really exciting times for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I would
Mr.
just-
Sabah.
I would just add, you know, I think any success of any successful organization is the policies and procedures and rules and regulations, and this code is in-depth and detailed, and again, kudos to everybody involved. At the end of the day, you know, the kids are always the reason we do everything, and this is a big step in the right direction, so.
Ms. Elzayat?
I just wanted to say that my favorite part of this is that it's the district code of conduct, because I always feel like whatever we want to hold our students up to, we need to live by that same standard, and that's leading by example. So thank you very much to everybody who was a part of this.
Okay, with that, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Board. I just want to echo something really quick on the District Code of Conduct. The beautiful thing was our team came in and 90% of this was done. It was our job to, just make it where it fits where the direction we're going as a district. So I appreciate the board's support on this. And I do want to say, God rest her soul, Donna Ansnick. It was one of the first things that she threw at me and said, "Get this done, Yusuf." And I said, "I'm on it." And then the pandemic hit. So, but I do appreciate that, and we are looking forward to it. I do want to say to the community, the District Code of Conduct is it's long, but we're also going to be creating a short 5x7 like Cliff Notes version pamphlet that every student will receive on the first day of school. And then the longer version will be accessible online, as well as we'll have some copies in the school offices, and then we can give copies on demand. Just, we don't want to print 4,000, 40, 50-page booklets. So just wanted to let the community know that as well. So a few informational items. First and foremost, I want to make a quick announcement. I'm saddened. These last couple of years, I've lost my fourth mentor. Dr. John Artis, who was a superintendent of schools in Dearborn, he gave me my start as an administrator. And he literally, I'll still never forget my interview with him. And he looked at me and said, "Why do you want to do this?" Those were his exact words. And I said to him at the time, and I believe this, and I said it with all honesty, because I want to be part of the change you're making. Much of the things that I bring to the table, I learned from Dr. Artis, because he was a researcher himself. He was a scholar. He didn't do well with politics. He didn't do well. He didn't want to deal with that stuff. He just wanted to be an educator, and he taught me, a great deal about what a good educator superintendent does. So God rest his soul. He is the fourth person I've lost in the last couple of years as a mentor of mine. Mr. Brian Whiston, the other superintendent of Dearborn Schools, was a mentor of mine. Donna Ansenik, and of course, say Takarin Hassan. So it's been a rough couple of years, but I will continue moving forward with the things that those four people have taught me. Just a couple other updates. So in our letter home to the parents, it discussed our new calendar. I appreciate Dr. Lazar and the board members that showed up for the public hearing. I think it was Trustee Janoon and Trustee Kaminsky. Again, Secretary Janoon and Vice President Kaminsky. I'm sorry, I got to get used to that. But we because this is the first time our district requested a pre-Labor Day start. Last year didn't count because of the way the calendar fell. So this year we had to have it approved by the state of Michigan, and it was approved. So I appreciate the legwork that Dr. Lazar did with the state. This new calendar is a balanced calendar. This new calendar is one that takes into consideration students' needs, but also as well as our teachers' needs. We as a district are moving forward. And in order to move forward, you build a team, you have to coach your team, and your team has to coach one another, and you have to, leaders grow from that. And this new calendar is going to allow us to do that. Additionally, this new calendar allows us to respect the needed time off in our district and due to the cultural norms of our district. Furthermore, I understand it's a pre-Labor Day start, and a lot of people don't like that because people want to travel, and I get it. But we're also in a situation where by law, we have to have 181 school days and 1,098 hours. And doing so, we have to have some flexibility in that calendar, because if we ever have a situation where we have to close schools for multiple days, we won't have to go until the end of June to meet the state requirements. So there's a lot of factors at play here, but I think the most important thing, and Dr. Lazar mentioned it, is this time before the Labor Day start is also going to give us time to build relationships with kids. Those 3-4 days before Labor Day, it's going to give teachers an opportunity to get to know the kids. We got to understand, our kids haven't been in the building for 2 years. We have juniors going into our high school that haven't spent probably a full day in school yet. We have kids going into 8th grade at Riverside that have not maybe stepped foot at Riverside Middle School. We are in a situation right now where we have to take advantage of every opportunity we can. So in that, I want to clarify, and a email will be going out to all the 5th grade parents. In the calendar, it is stated that 6th through 12th grade have a half day, but 5th grade has a full day. That is correct. 5th grade is elementary, 6th through 12th is considered secondary, and now that we moved to semesters, and that is the beginning of the new semester, and teachers are adjusting their schedules, and there's assessments and different things for secondary students. Our 5th graders, even though they're housed at Riverside Middle School, we still consider them elementary students because they're still in a social and emotional state where we want to have them in a sheltered classroom, not going between 6 different teachers. So I wanted to, so an email will go out to all of the incoming 5th grade families so that they're aware that is correct on the calendar. And finally, I want to say that, we are looking forward to the start of the school year. At this time, again, I want to reiterate, at this time, because it's an ever-changing dynamic, masks will be optional at this time. I know that as a board, and a team, we will be reviewing that as we get closer to the school year. I want the community and the public to know that I don't have my head in the sand, I promise you. I'm listening to the reports, I'm reading the updates I get, looking at the research constantly, and we're constantly evaluating on a daily basis, where we stand and what's happening. We want our students back in school. We want our teachers teaching from the classroom, and we want to move our district forward. So I'm looking forward to that. I appreciate the board's support. And Madam President, that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Green, any public comments? Okay.
Oh, the statement?
What, I'm sorry? I think you're just seeing if we're paying attention to you. We are, our eyes are on you. Do we want, can we go ahead and read your statement, please, Ms. Janoon?
When she gets online.
Okay, so, hello, everybody. This meeting of the board is held in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting and as indicated in the agenda. This is not the time for debate or argument. In order to permit a fair allotment of time to participants, speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The president may extend this time to 5 minutes per person when needed. Up to a half hour is provided for public input.
Thank you, Ms. Janoon. Okay, Mr. Green.
Hello?
Hi, please state your name for the board.
Mahmoud Ramouni?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear his name. Mahmoud Ramouni? Okay, go ahead and
Yes.
state your comment, please.
I just had a few concerns for my kids returning back to school.
Okay,
Health issues with the variants and such, and the uptick in the spread, and how you guys are gonna open up classes.
okay, let me have the superintendent respond to that. He just made a statement, but I don't know if you missed it or not, but go ahead, Dr. Masalam.
Hello, Mr. Ramouni, this is Dr. Masalam.
Hey.
How are you? So
Good.
at this time, we're reviewing everything that's coming out from the Michigan Department of Health as well as the CDC. And at this time, we are making masks optional because we still have a few more weeks out, and we're gonna continuously reassess the situation as we get closer to the school year. We do plan on having face-to-face instruction. I don't want to say going back to normal because we're not going to be normal. We're going to be adjusting and changing some things up. As we get closer, I know that the board is going to continue to assess the situation with us as well. And what I would recommend is if you can contact my office, and I can have either myself or the principal and whomever reach out to you and speak with you about any specific concerns you have so that we can see how we can accommodate if possible.
Right, I was wondering, like, since you guys had online classes, would that be an option for my kids? Because they excelled in that, honestly. And I have a daughter who just turned 12.
Mm-hmm.
And she just became eligible for the vaccine. So being in such close quarters for these kids, you can almost guarantee that they're going to get this virus, especially without sufficient, air circulation in there and ventilation. I mean, who's responsible for that if my kid ends up in the ER, God forbid,
Well,
And are you guys addressing those issues?
So our air circulation is being updated and is still, the updates should be complete by time school opens. We also have different air circulation measures by opening up certain windows in certain areas of the school that helps move the air around. But
Right.
in terms
But you
of,
said masks were optional, so how does that work? I mean, if they're spreading it to each other in close proximity.
well,
I mean-
that at this point, masks are optional because we're leaving it up to the parents' discretion if they want their children to wear a mask or not. But what I can tell you in terms of an online component, we are looking at possibilities right now, but the online component, the only drawback for that right now is our ability to staff that correctly and meet the needs of the numbers of people who would possibly like the online component. So we are researching that and we are reviewing that, but I don't have anything definite at this point as we're still working out some of the details, because we have to ensure that, number one, we have enough staff that are available to teach an online component, and number two, we're able to accommodate all that wish to have an online component. So we are looking into that, but at this point, we don't have anything situated for that. And we can talk further as well to look at specifically different things that we're doing in the different schools so that we can give you more of a clear understanding. And the principals would really have a lot more detail because they're specifically developing their plans for their specific schools.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my kids excelled in the online classes, and I don't feel comfortable putting them in that situation. God forbid they end up in the ER or pass away from this virus. That to me is unacceptable, and I commend you guys for being one of the first cities to pull the kids out of school when this virus first came out. But with this Delta variant, I mean, it's scary. It's 3 times more contagious than the last one. And putting kids in that close proximity to each other in a classroom, you're guaranteed to spread that to the children. And, you know, I think my kids' safety should come first, and there should be online classes for parents that do want that for their kids.
And I hear you, and again, I don't want to give a definite answer at this time because we still have to work out some details.
Right. Okay, are you having another meeting? I was told August 23rd for some kind of voting on the classes or something like that, online classes, or
No,
as far as opening back up?
Our next board meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, and we're going to be discussing where we're at in reference to, as a district, if masks are going to be optional, if masks are going to be mandatory, because we want to adjust with what the information coming from the CDC and the Michigan Department of Health is giving us on a regular basis.
Okay, with that, Mr. Ramuni, thank you so much for calling. Feel free to call Dr. Masalam's office if you have any further questions. And we appreciate you calling. Mr. Saber, did you have
Okay,
a question?
thank
Thank you.
you for listening to my concerns.
Thank
I just
you.
want to address Mr. Ramuni, and I'm a parent myself, as we all are, and we all have the same concerns, so just realize these are not easy decisions for any of us. And,
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, because my daughter just literally turned 12 like a week ago. She hasn't been vaccinated.
Yeah.
And even if she was today, it wouldn't be for at least another month and a half before she had any kind of, you know, protection from this virus.
Sure.
So
Well,
for me,
thank you.
that's like forcing my kids into a dangerous situation.
again, we all take that to heart. Thank you for calling.
so
I
much
just
for
wanted to make
calling.
sure we let you know that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else, Mr. Green? That's it. Okay, any board comments? Starting with Mr. Sabah, and we'll go around.
No, Dr. Musalam, this is gonna be it's a hot topic, and you and I had a chance to chat the other day when we were at the field, and I told you that this isn't gonna be easy for any of us when looking at those kids that were there. We've all got hard decisions, but we've gotta put everybody's health first and foremost in anything and everything we do. But also keep in mind that, a large part of the growth for these children is this social interaction, which is a distant second. I want to make sure I say that loudly because I don't want people to think I'm putting that ahead of their health, because it's not. But it's just not going to be an easy decision, and, we, more to come in 2 weeks, I guess.
Okay, anything from Ms. Elzayat?
Yep, I just wanted to address the people out there that are working so hard to get things done. And I know your names may not be mentioned every time something is done, and I know that you had a part of it. So to all of you, I just wanted to say thank you. Even though you're not getting singled out or recognized, we know that you're there, we see you, and we appreciate all that you're doing. Also to the Muslim community, tomorrow marks the first day of the Islamic New Year, so I wanted to congratulate everybody on that new year. It also marks the beginning of the month of Muharram, and remembering those who made historical sacrifices in the name of justice. So, those are my comments.
Okay, thank you.
I agree with both Mr. Seba and Mr. Elzayat, but also for Dr. Musalam, if you could just because a lot of the parents had asked about, school supplies, so if you can bring that up so they know what to expect. And is there any plans for orientation for students, as you said, that might be in 6th grade, 7th grade, whatever grade, that have never actually stepped foot in Riverside or Crestwood, to either maybe like a one-day camp where they come all day and check out the school, figure out where classes are, get their ID, whatever, just instructional, I guess.
First, yes. The high school and the middle school are going to be sending out their information together. They're both going to be having an orientation, and it's going to be, one I believe is over a couple days, and one is one, but they showed me the schedule and everything, so that's coming very soon. And I will send a message out to the principals just to ensure that any school supplies that are needed, if they can be sent out, if they have not already been done, so we can clarify that as well. But yes, I want to reiterate to everyone and to the community, there will be orientations at every school. And some school, and they're coming up with some fun things to do. It's not just come in and walk around. So we're gonna be opening these schools back up with the celebration.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. New?
I was gonna also ask about orientation because I have a sophomore who's never stepped a foot in Crestwood, so thank you for that. I do want to mention that on August 21st, the Dearborn Heights firefighters are having their annual chili cook-off from noon to 6 p.m. And I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Jamal Faraj, who's putting it together this year. He's in charge of it, and I know that he has been in touch with Al Sayed Meats, and they are actually donating all of the meat for the chili cook-off, so it will be more inclusive this year. So if anybody would like to attend and taste the chili, and it will be halal, most of it will be. They'll have signs if it is not and includes any type of any other meat. There'll be raffles and silent auction, and if you're interested in purchasing raffle tickets, you can reach out to Mr. Jamal Faraj. So, yep, August 21st from noon to.
Is that at the fire department on Beach?
It is actually, sorry, I should have mentioned that, it's at Parkland Park, so it's off of Hines Drive and Outer Drive. Yeah, right at that,
Parkland?
not Parkland,
Parkland?
sorry. Nope,
That's
it's
where
not
they usually
Parkland.
had it.
It's actually Hines Drive and Outer Drive, it's that, that little park right off
Which
of.
is called Parkland.
Is it called Parkland as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's Dearborn Heights Parkland, and then
So
there's a Wayne
not-
County.
That's where the
not-
Raiders play.
not
so,
the
okay.
park-
Yeah, there's a
Oh, they
Wayne
do
County
it though,
park
okay.
that's called Parkland,
Okay.
and that's what that little
So
area
it's
is.
literally
21st.
Hines and, yep, August 21st.
Is there a
So
flyer you can send to my office and we'll get it
I
out?
will, yep,
Thank you.
forward that to you.
Excellent.
Of course, I'll be at home. Ms. Kaminsky?
Just two things. I was able to attend the play that was put on, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and just wanted to say that it's really, it was a well-done play. It was nice to be able to get out and see a play again, because it's been a really long time, and I look forward to the plays that they'll be able to put on this year. And then, for those in the community that remember Mr. Dietzek, or Mr. D as he's fondly called, he is in the hospital fighting pneumonia, so I would ask for everyone's prayers and well wishes for him. And other than that, nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I ditto everybody's comments. I'm excited about the new school year. I'm excited about what the students will be getting this year, the great education. That's what makes my heart happy, to know that the kids are going to get the support that they need, and we're looking forward to having them back in the buildings for the new school year. And with that, move to adjourn? Motion?
Support.
Okay,
Motion by
Danielle,
Thank
you.
supported by
can we have a vote on that, please? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.